Everybody, welcome back to another episode of Cryptid Cocktail Party, a show where we have a few drinks, share a few laughs, take a dive into the unknown. I'm your host, Dave.
And I'm Sarge. Hi.
Fucking nailed it.
Yeah. I'm Sarge.
That is Sarge. Also, he, for those of you who don't know, Sarge has a very storied past. He is apparently one of the founding members of Wham. Along with was it George Michael? No,
George Michael and the other guy.
The other guy? Did the other guy ever have like a career?
We never bothered to learn his name. You know, he was really just window dressing for George Michael.
I guess if he did have his own career afterwards, we wouldn't be calling him the other guy from Wham.
Exactly. And I was the hype man, so I didn't have a lot to do because I didn't rap.
Oh,
so I was mostly backstage, just going, "You guys are doing great."
Just bet 2 thumbs up from the side. Just
Awesome crew neck sweatshirt, George. You were the face of the early '80s.
Yeah. All right. So
and he paid me in fluorescent watches. They didn't last.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. I didn't really know where to go with that afterwards, to be honest.
We're fucking killing it today, dude. Sarge,
we're nailing it.
We have what I would describe as a pretty good episode today, I think. It might be a little bit shorter than what we normally do. But before we dive into all that nonsense, how you doing, Sarge? I know you went to night 2 of Metallica.
I did.
Last time.
I went to night 2 of Metallica. I went to night 1 and night 2, but we talked about that in the last one. So for night 2, it was Metallica, but they were being opened up for by Ice Nine Kills. Excellent Kurt Vonnegut reference. And then Five Finger Donkey Punch, I think it's called.
Something rough. Something like that.
You know not to listen to a band if one of the members of the band is wearing a motocross shirt with the logo of the band on it. They are the Monster Energy of rock music, so I declined to see them. There was a lightning storm that took place, so we mostly stayed in the parking lot underneath an aluminum tent rather than seeing Five Finger Death Punch, if that gives you any inkling as to how I feel about that band.
I would rather get fucking electrocuted alive.
Yes. Yes, please. So, just crushing Gansets with my bro, and my actual brother, he is also a fan of cryptids. He has a Hawaiian shirt with Bigfoot on it.
Dude, my buddy just got a Hawaiian shirt with Bigfoot on it.
I'm thinking I need to up my game, as here I am rocking tank tops all day like a
Sarge. I gotta say, dude, are you feeling trapped? Because, dude, you're fucking trapped.
You know, the worst part is I don't do anything with my traps. It's because when I was a little kid, I had a paper route and I was very lazy. And so I used to put all of my newspapers in the bag, and then just switch shoulders as the excruciating pain,
dude,
would build up.
Is that why I have? Because I don't work out
at all. This is the only reason I have big traps.
I did the same thing. I had the paper route with the bag for Foster's Daily Democrat out of Dover, New Hampshire.
Oh, there you go. I was delivering the Patriot Ledger out of Quincy, Massachusetts, and the Quincy Sun. I was a two-prong assault on the news.
Oh.
But anyway, so we got away from music for a moment, but let's go back to Metallica for a bit. I got an awesome T-shirt. I haven't worn it yet because it's a black T-shirt. It's been about 4,000 degrees every day here in Boston. But Metallica did a great job. I feel like the song selection for night 2 was better than night 1, but night 1, I feel like they had a little bit more energy. And that's probably because they didn't start playing night 2 until 9:30 because of the lightning and donkey punches that happened on stage before them. So, it's probably past their bedtime. Lars probably had to down a couple of Ensures before he could get out on stage. But that's okay, because most of the audience did too. So we're all in the same boat.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's... I can only imagine the crap, but my brother and good friend of the show, Justin Furtak, they were both there for night 2 too. I only asked Justin, I was like, "How was Five Finger Death Punch?" And his only response was, awful. And then I haven't heard from him since then. So
the thing about Five Finger Death Punch, we were talking about this in the parking lot. The music isn't really the problem. It is the lead singer and his terrible lyrics.
Yeah, it's also just the pandery nonsense. Like none of them are in the military, but they're just full like red. They're all waving rock.
Flags. Like it's butt rock for sure.
It's what's that? What's the thing that the fucking right wing hate? Virtue signaling. That's what is that what it is? Like it's like that.
Yeah, but it's virtue signaling in the wrong direction. And then I also love that the lead singer often gets so drunk that he forgets his dad didn't die. Like, you've got a drinking problem when you think your dad died. I remember one night he's like, yeah, my dad died a couple days ago. And then the next day they had an interview with his dad and his dad's like, no.
Maybe he means like like emotionally, like he emotionally died.
I don't know.
Because his son is the singer of Five Finger Death Punch.
I don't know that the lead singer of Five Finger Death Punch is capable of that kind of philosophical depth. You know what I mean? I don't think that he's aware of philosophy in any way. He's not subtle, as I guess what I'm trying to say.
Well, Ice Nine Kills. Sorry, this isn't a music podcast, but I'm going to say this real quick.
I know we're going to talk about it because music is part of our lives.
Ice Nine Kills they just got into some like kind of like weird kind of controversy, I guess. They were looking for extras for their upcoming music video or something like that, and instead of just being like every other metal or hardcore band being like, we need extras, show up to this place at this time, if you can get in, cool, whatever. They were charging like $600 a person to like be.
That's not how being an extra works.
Nope. But it's like you get to spend time with the band and like you get like a poster or something like that. I'm like, yeah, you get that anyways. Like you're gonna be in the same. I don't know, but yeah, they got a lot of flack.
Dear Ice Nine Kills, $600 is not enough
to make you want to be.
Yeah, you would have to pay me more than $600 to want to, because like the music, I'll be honest, I don't know much about the band, but I do know that if they're opening for Five Finger Death Punch, they're probably not. You know what I mean? Ice
Nine Kills isn't terrible. They're like
right.
It's like horror metal. Like everything they do is horror themed.
Yeah, which
you can't tell.
I mean, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
But it's not cool. It's not like the Misfits or like Creep or like horror punk.
Yeah,
like,
they're like, not.
It's very.
Yeah, they don't deserve the $600 per person.
No, and I could be inflating that number. I have no idea but even charging anything to be an extra in your music video is kind of like they're one of the biggest.
I mean, like if it was like a live show and they were making a music video of the live show, I could see maybe charging everybody $50.
Yeah, like it's like.
But you're using your. Go ahead.
Like if it was like a full show, like you know what I mean, like a full set. And they're doing like live shots. I don't know. It's dumb.
Like I knew that they weren't important to Metallica by the fact that there were no Ice Nine Kills t-shirts in the merch area whatsoever.
It was wild.
There was like 2 Five Finger Death Punch t-shirts and then 55 Metallica t-shirts. Like there were more Pantera t-shirts. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I'm off on a tangent.
You never. I've never once. What?
I derail conversations that I'm having with myself.
All I got to say is that tangents are definitely not your brand. I don't know where this came from. It's definitely not par for the course for anytime you're in front of a microphone or a camera. Sarge.
If I had $1 for every time my therapist said we have derailed.
Anyways, aliens. They're weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love them.
Now, Sarge. Oh, yeah, we're just diving right in, by the way.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
So
it's probably best to surprise me.
Yeah. When you picture, like, when you think of an alien, like, description, and I don't mean like from movies, I mean like whatever. Like, what do you picture when you hear about an alien abduction encounter? Like, what do you picture the alien looking like?
I always envision them as like either green or grays. Like, the big eyes, tiny mouth, 2 nostrils, light bulb shaped head,
Yeah.
That's all I ever picture.
Yeah. So for the most part, you're like, like you picture like a 3 to 4 foot tall, like gray little man with like a big head and black eyes. That's like the typical alien description, pretty standard, run of the mill alien type shit. Now,
this little guy right here. This
one. It looks
this little fella,
just like that. Or like when like you go to like your stoner friend's house in high school and he has like a blacklight poster with like a peace sign and
yes,
like that's
exactly.
That's it. Now, we as a show have covered several different alien encounters, and all of them have been pretty fucking weird because we aren't ones to waste your time. Like we're not going to just talk about alien. But this week's topic,
alien grays are not exciting.
Yeah, but this week's topic is definitely up there amongst like the like Pascagoula aliens or like the Bozak Cowmans of the world when it comes to weird one-off alien sightings. This week, Sarge, we are heading once again to the nightmare-fueled area known as the Pacific Northwest, to the town of Newport, Oregon, to talk about an encounter with the entities known as the Newport Stumps. Are you familiar with the Newport Stumps? Your face says it all. I'm going to say no.
That would be an amazing band name if everyone in the band had amputee. It was like an amputee.
So
can I just make a comment before we go on? I'm going to do it anyway, whether I get permission or not, because this needs to be said. What is it with the northern corners of our country?
Dude, I don't know. It's all a nightmare.
New England and the Pacific Northwest are the two weirdest fucking places on earth. Or at least in America.
Like, I don't believe in like ley lines or anything like that, but but it is kind of just like across that one like direction that's just super fucked up. But so just like with all these stories, Newport is a small seaside town with a current population of about 11,000. From pictures, it kind of looks just like it belongs more like New England than on the West Coast. It's got like cute little lighthouses, beaches. You can go visit the state park there, which is aptly named the Devil's Punch Bowl.
No, thank you.
I mean, it's cute. Besides that, the only notable thing about the town that I could find is that David Ogden Stiers is from there. And for those of you unfamiliar with his work, he was Major Winchester in the show MASH. And if you are a listener that's not in your late 40s, he voiced Cogsworth in Beauty and the Beast. He was also Dr. Jukuba, I think, in Lilo and Stitch, and was also the voice of Kamaji in Spirited Away. So that's kind of cool. But besides that...
I like him.
Yeah, but anyways, Newport seems pretty cool. Again, it's just kind of like a small little seaside town. Seems oddly familiar in vibes to places that I've visited up and down the New England coast. So good job, guys, or whatever.
Yeah, nice work.
One thing about this place that I have never experienced in New England, and I hope I never do, is what was experienced by 16-year-old Kathy Reeves and her friend on the night of April 5th, 1966. All right. So I'm really dragging this out, and I apologize, but this is a short episode, so I'm trying to like pad the runtime.
It's okay. We're talking about the 60s, the swinging 60s, where there was a lot of armpit hair, and people dancing in mud, if I recall.
I think that was,
which I don't because I wasn't there.
Yeah, that was like the one time.
The Vietnam War.
That's So
there you go. That was a thing that happened back then.
Yeah.
Richard Nixon.
Ooh.
And LBJ.
Are we just naming
swinging his dick out all the time? I could go forever. I know a lot about history. No, I'm sorry. I'm sidetracking myself again.
Okay. Well, you ready to dive in? Because I'm about to start this story.
I'm ready to dive in.
All right.
I want to dive into the Devil's Punch Bowl.
So on the night in question, Kathy and her
sounds like a euphemism for buttholes. Now that I think about it,
I almost made that joke, but I let it slide. You know, I was almost there.
I didn't.
I was right there.
Sounds like a sex act.
So I
walked in the room and these weirdos were doing the Devil's Punch Bowl. It took me weeks to clean that up.
I almost just fucking jokes.
Perverts.
So on the night in question, Kathy and her unnamed friend were walking back to Kathy's house when they got a weird sense that they were being watched from the darkness. The pair turned around to see what they described as the light from a flashlight, but like dim, as if someone was trying to conceal the light when the girls had turned around. Now, Kathy and her friend both assumed that it was probably a neighborhood boy trying to prank and scare them, which fellas, hear me out. Pro tip. The worst prank you could play on a pair of young women walking down the road at night is to silently stalk them down the road just outside of the edge of darkness. Not a good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe in the 60s is a different time, but definitely don't do that now.
Not a good idea, no.
But the two girls,
problematic.
The two girls did what any pair of young women should do when they think they're being followed. And this is a pro tip to the ladies. They started picking up large rocks from the side of the road and just hucking them towards the dim light, and presumptively whoever was out there in the darkness holding said light. Now, the downside, Sarge, to not seeing whoever it was in the darkness is that you might not know if that who is a what. Because once they started pelting whatever it was out there in the darkness, the dim light went out. And then just an array of wildly more intense light beams were switched on, just engulfing these two girls in light like they were like a fucking Skrillex concert. Now, now once their eyes
good reference.
Now once their eyes adjusted from the impromptu planetarium laser light show, the friends claimed that they saw what they described as, quote, an indistinct dome-shaped object, whatever the fuck that means, just set down on the road just behind them. They said it was just about
a dome in the road.
Yeah. And they said it was about, quote, as high as a room, which again, doesn't really help with scale because rooms are wildly different sizes, but whatever. And this dome,
maybe they only have one kind of room in Newport.
Maybe like every house is built. There's the cookie cutter homes or something like that.
It's exactly 7 feet tall.
Yeah. Like, fuck, dude, like, give me something, but also they're 16. I'm not going to knock them for it.
Yeah, that's fair.
But the dome-like quote-unquote craft was surrounded by lights and smoke, which made it look as though like if this thing was, it looked like this thing was like on fire. Now, the girls seeing this were no longer as brave as they were when they assumed it was just a possible predator stalking them through the woods. Apparently having everything you know about the world and known universe just immediately shattered right in front of you really freaks a person out. So they said, fuck this, and attempted to flee as fast as they could.
I would. That's fair.
Yeah. Now, as they ran down the street and turned the corner, like any thought of them being in the clear of this craft or what was piloting the craft were immediately gone. Cutting across their path through a field that led back to the domed craft were 3 alien entities that, and I... This description was used by cryptopia.us, so I'm going to use it here. It says 3 alien entities that, quote, nearly shattered the teens' already precarious notion of reality, end quote. Where are you at?
So they all look like Steve Bannon?
But I mean, just from that quote alone, what do you think these entities, these aliens look like? Because that's a pretty wild way to describe them. It shattered their precarious notion of reality. I can't. And again, this is because, I watch a lot of horror movies. I read a lot of cryptid stories. I can't think of anything that would like shatter. Well, I guess like in person, maybe if I saw like 3 men wearing like Wham t-shirts. For a second,
there's no way 3 men together in a group like Wham. Like if one of them liked it, I could see that. But if like all 3 were wearing matching Wham t-shirt, not matching, they were matching. It's like a joke. But if they're all different ones, or like, no, genuinely, if I saw like Steve Bannon, Stephen Miller, and Mike Pence walking towards me, that would probably, if I didn't know who they were at first, like if I just saw them for the first time that day, because I'd be like, look, 2 goblins and a ventriloquist dummy. This is uncomfortable.
You basically described what it would look like if a person was melting in 3 different stages. You start. You got like
Stephen Miller actually looks like the Nazi whose face melts in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Let's see. Mike Pence is the beginning stage. It's like just a wax.
Yeah,
figure.
He's the prototype.
Bannon is the end stage, I feel like.
Yeah.
And then you got Miller.
When you finally settled.
Yeah, it looks like you're looking at a time lapse photo of someone just melting.
Like a human candle.
Yeah.
Like the hair melts off first. That explains Stephen Miller.
I mean, am I wrong? Am I?
No, not at all. Not at all. That's pretty apt. That's a fair assessment. For those of you who don't know what Stephen Miller looks like, just picture a neck blowing a very ugly bubble.
like those frogs that just like. Well, you're not close at all, Sarge. I hate to break it to you.
No, that's fair.
Kathy described...
That's my nightmare. That's not their nightmare. I get it.
No, Kathy described these aliens as headless, armless, little tree stumps that scuttled along on spider-like appendages that resembled quote-unquote tap roots. She also described them as wearing multicolored outfits that included basically all of the colors. You got orange, blue, white, yellow, and watermelon colored, which I think the word she was looking for is green, but I get it. Like,
they were all wearing Wham costumes.
Yeah, like if you just saw like picture that you just saw a real life Ent from Lord of the Rings wearing the Technicolor dream coat. Like, if I saw that, like I'd forget all of my 20s. Like if I saw some shit like
references.
that.
Oh man,
no!
I love that they're headless and armless.
Yeah, like they literally look like
just tree stumps.
Like imagine Rob Morphy. I forgot to pronounce his last name. Rob Morphy, I think it is, from the Kryptonaut podcast. He described it as, remember in Beetlejuice when all the sculptures come to life, and there was that one that had like the fucking like legs. It's like that, but instead of the head like being on the front, it's like in the middle. So it's like a tree stump on like fucking. It looks like a
I don't know if you've played Elden Ring, but this is giving me Elden Ring vibes.
No, I don't have the.
I feel like this is a villain in Elden Ring.
I don't have the patience for Souls types games. I can't do it. I couldn't even get through Jedi Fallen Order.
I don't either. I threw my Xbox controller across the room the other day because I was so goddamn furious with that game.
Yeah, I can't. It's I hate it. You know, I'm not gonna get it. We'll do a separate thing about this.
Yeah, no, it's too much. Yeah, it's too much. Because if we start talking about it, we're both going to talk about things that make us mad about that game.
Yeah. Okay. So stunned by what they were seeing, obviously, the girls could only stand there as they watched as the silent but quick spider Groots made their way across the fields and out of sight towards the craft. Now, once they were able to somewhat gather themselves, they did what either of us would do. They fucking screamed into the night and booked it to the safety of the Reeves home.
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't long before rumors started going around town about the young girls' encounter. You know, like UFO researchers, the press, and just your average curiosity seeker started making their way to the town. And even like we're going to Kathy Reeves' home, like camping out in front of it, to possibly catch a glimpse or get like the next big scoop on these stump like aliens, which is I never understood that. Like you see this all the time, like like a UFO lands or an alien encounter happens, and then people go to the town to try and see it again, and it's like they're not going to come back. Like they did the thing. Like what do you hope?
Yeah,
like it's very.
I live in a town in Massachusetts that has. It's no longer, they're closing it down, but for a long time, there was a large maximum security prison here.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime I would tell people I live in this town, they'd be like, oh, you got the prison there. And I'm like, well, yeah, this is a safe place to be because when you escape jail, you don't stay in the town where the jail is. You leave the town.
Yeah.
So the other towns around me are the ones that should be worried. I'm good.
Yeah.
They're not coming to my house.
Well, yeah.
So, like, same thing with the aliens. Like, these aliens, if they're scurrying, they don't want to be around these. They're not coming back.
No.
Why would they come back? Especially with all the reporters and cameras and shit.
It's very rare that you see, like, an alien, like a UFO encounter or something like that, come back to the same spot. Like, I mean, there are times, like, there's that dude who kept getting abducted by aliens so that they could have sex, and he painted pictures of
guy
them.
in Brazil.
you know the guy I'm talking
favorite.
about. He like paints
His story
pictures
is my favorite.
Yeah, we're gonna do.
We gotta cover him. Did we cover him yet?
Oh yeah, we're gonna do a whole. It's gonna have to be like a multi-parter episode for that guy because there's a lot going on. But
yeah, that was like one of the first abduction stories that I read, and I was like, oh no, this is just a fetish. This isn't a real.
I need one of his.
This guy's just getting really turned on by telling this story.
I need, if anyone out there has one of his paintings and they're willing to sell it to me and or gift it because you love me.
Yeah.
Fucking please, dude. I need one so bad. But like, yeah,
I, on the other hand, would prefer not to have erotica, but thank you for the offer. God.
But no, I never understood the whole swarming an area. Like, I get it if you're like part of like MUFON or like NAPRO or something. You're an alien. Like you're going to do like an investigation, like go to the site and like scan for radiation or whatever. But if you're just a dude showing up to some fucking poor teenager's house in hopes that these stump monsters are gonna come back, like, nah, dude, you missed your window. Like you're trying too hard, man. But
yeah, it's over.
Yeah, but there was no such glory to be found. Like the only one who caught a glimpse of anything was an officer named Deputy Rice, who, according to the book, and before I say the name of this book, I gotta say, if you're writing a book about alien encounters, because every single book is the titles, work on your titles. They don't have to be this long. This one is called, according to the book, Extraordinary Encounters, an Encyclopedia of Extraterrestrials and Otherworldly Beings. Deputy Rice saw some lights over the Reeve home, and then that was it. So,
okay.
Yeah, but that's really it.
So at least we have a one source outside of these three young. What was it? Two young ladies.
Yeah. Well, this is after the fact,
because
he saw these strange.
Yeah, right.
But that could have been fucking anything, dude. It's the 60s. Like,
yeah,
it could have been.
I mean, as I mentioned, Jimmy Carter said that he thought he saw UFOs, and all the people that were with him that day were like, no, I don't think that was it.
Yeah.
Might have been like a street light.
Yeah. So all I got to say is that
Jimmy Carter.
Whoever wrote Extraordinary Encounters, an Encyclopedia of Extraterrestrials and Otherworldly Beings, one, no one cares about this, and two, fucking
tone it the fuck down.
Yeah, there's too many E's in your title. Too many.
When your title of your book looks like an eye chart, you've gone too far.
But that's really it. After that, the Newport Stumps were never seen again, or at the very least, like, not reported to have been seen again. But who knows? Maybe they're like camouflaging themselves in the forest amongst the trees. Which now, if I ever go to the Pacific Northwest and I'm like hiking, if I ever
look at the stumps,
if I sit on a stump, I'm gonna be like, well, like,
please don't get up.
Yeah, like what if I'm just like sitting on their face? And they're like, what if that's their thing? And I was like, oh man, I'm hungry for shit. I mean, probably not.
Aliens not understanding human culture. They must all sit on these stumps.
Yeah.
Let's get out there.
But there you have it, Sarge. That is the tale of the Newport Stumps. Little shorter of an episode. It was just a fun little thing. I mean, I
love this because I'm going to imagine that like all the little pieces, the tendrils of the stumps were just little legs. So just like skittering along.
That's what it was.
And they're all multicolored and dressed like they're going to a rave.
Yeah. I don't understand why they all had the same, like, the uniforms or whatever they described. It just looked like a fucking patchwork quilt. Like,
yeah.
Like,
yeah. I love like alien stories in general, especially when you get like an alien story where like you can tell that the aliens from the story were trying to fit in somehow. Like, I just like to believe that the aliens in this story were just wearing costumes. They were like, this is what people around this place wear. Let's just wear this and they'll never notice that we're tree stumps.
Yeah, they no attempt to hide the fact that they look wildly different as far as like biological. They're like, no, what really will define us as human is the patchwork clothing. I do, yeah.
Yes.
Now I like that.
And frankly, like I feel like the 60s was a great time for aliens to come to Earth because so many people were doing LSD that no one's going to believe you.
But also, I didn't think about the fact that it was the 60s, and now I'm in my head, I'm picturing how like hippies dress. And it's like crust punks but colorful. So like everything was everything was patchwork, but instead of tight, it was baggy. Like they are wearing multicolored. So
yeah, like instead of filthy denim vests, they were wearing filthy denim vests that were colorful.
Yeah, like I said, the only way I pictured it was the Technicolor dream coat, and I think that's probably the best way to describe it.
I love it.
It was good.
I want these little stump guys to come back. You can hang out in my yard. My dog won't bother you, but I'm not going to sit on you. Yeah. No, she's a dainty chick. She won't do that. She has her own area of the yard. That's her. That's her toilet.
Keeps it contained. You can't spoil the rest of the yard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh shit. All right, Sarge. Well, that is the episode.
The Stumps. The Newport Stumps.
The Newport Stumps, which is
definitely a good name for a band.
It's not bad, but that's why I also named the studio.
It's not a bad band name.
That's why I named the studio Newport Regular 100s. Because
you don't want the 120s. You don't want the skinny ones.
No, the
Slims.
Virginia Slums. All right.
Yeah. So I had a buddy whose mom used to smoke Misty
Light 120
Slims.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were like, they were like toothpicks.
They looked like the candy cigarettes that we would buy when we went up to China, Maine. There was a candy store.
She used to keep them in the freezer.
Oh, well, I did that too. When I used to smoke cigarettes, I put my carton of cigarettes in the freezer. I don't think it does anything. I don't understand why.
It does not. It does not help. It dries them out, if anything. It makes it worse.
Oh, well, it is what it is. All right. Sarge, you got anything you want to plug before we sign off?
Yeah, I got a listener story.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
It's a short one. It's a short one.
I literally already forgot about it. You told me this before the episode. I'm not gonna lie. I had a few drinks before writing this, which is why that's okay. All over the place. So I'm kind of feeling good.
Okay, so my buddy Donald sent me this story. It's kind of a dark story, to be honest, but it's certainly it's a dark story. It's a dark story. So he says when he was 8 or 9, his dad was murdered by his friend.
Okay. Just right out the gate.
Right out the gate. Like he didn't even, this is such a tough story. I didn't even know what to say.
All right. Start it over from the beginning. All right.
So when he was 8 or 9, his dad was murdered by his friend, and his dad's girlfriend, about a month or so after his funeral. Oh, so his dad's friend and his dad's girlfriend murdered him. So a month or so after the funeral, he moved to Ohio, and he was left home alone by his mom. His mom was always out, and then his sister was at his aunt's house all the time. And anyway, his dad one night showed up as a full body apparition and sat with him and explained everything that happened to him. But now he was in a better place, and he's safe and healthy and no longer in pain. And I guess his dad stayed with him for 2 hours, and then he just vanished after he told him he loved him.
Jesus Christ.
Right? I was like, how do you want me to change this at all? And he's like, no, just say it like that. And I was like, okay, man.
I feel like.
So Donald, thank you for the story. I'm sorry that happened to you. It's goddamn awful, but it's also kind of cool that your dad just came and sat with you afterwards. Like, that's closure that not a lot of people would get. That's kind of amazing.
I guess, but at the same time, like, fuck, dude. We just
yeah, it's brutal. It's such a brutal story.
That is the opposite of wholesome content.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's wholesome in the end because his dad came and told him everything was going to be okay.
Not to make light of the situation, and I really don't mean to, but he said he was healthy. Dude, you're dead, man. That's the opposite. The most opposite of healthy you could ever.
Well, I think Donald was saying,
I'm sorry.
No, I think he was kind of like, hey, I feel good now. I feel okay now.
Oh, God damn.
Jesus, what a terrible story, though. That was a tough one.
Yeah, man.
I felt so sad for him. I was like, this is so sad to me.
All right, new rule. Your stories can't involve your parents being murdered, please. I don't think I can handle. I'm laughing because I can't handle how fucking bummed I am.
I co-sign that rule. But I was pretty. It messed me up for like a day afterwards. Yeah, because I was like trying to think about how to, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it like he said. Just read it as it is.
Well, thank you for your story.
Yeah.
If anyone else has a listener story they want to like a story they want to share with us, please do. You can either message Cryptid Cocktail on Instagram at Cryptid Cocktail. You can DM Sarge at Sarge the Destroyer. You can find him
Sarge the Destroyer on Instagram.
Yeah, or
TikTok. You can find me there.
Yeah, or you can email the show at cryptidcocktail@gmail.com. just trying to keep it brief. Try and not bum us out almost immediately.
Yeah, don't make me too sad.
Or if you
don't hold back.
Or if it is sad, just don't open up with my father was murdered. Please.
Yeah.
Ease us into it.
Ease us into it.
Because that was hard.
That was a tough one.
Yeah. Let's see. Follow us on Instagram. Leave a rating and review of the show if you can, please. That'd be awesome. Don't base it off of this episode. I feel like this episode's not our best work, but if you like the show,
this one's sad.
Just 5 stars on.
This is a roller coaster of an episode, that's for sure.
Yeah, really. Yeah. I got nothing else. Patreon, $5 a month if you want to. That's cool. If not, whatever. And Sarge has a coloring book. You can go get his coloring book.
Sarge's supernormal.com. You can get my coloring book, $9.99. It's got like 50 pages that you can color on.
Yeah, I have it on display. It's right behind my.
Oh, you have it on display. Oh, I do see it. Yeah, very fancy.
Right behind my lava lamp.
This is what it looks like. The artwork is by Mr. Daniel. He's a buddy of mine. And he made this to make it look like I was haunting your acid trip. But there's all kinds of fun stuff in here. There's Bigfoots and fighting petunias. There's all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So Sarge's supernormal.com, all one word. Get a coloring book and color away your fears as a nation dips slowly into madness.
So on both of those bummer notes, do you want to say goodbye and I love you to the audience?
Guys, everything's going to be okay. And I love you.